Hello. So, for this week's podcast, I would say that it challenged me socially and probably culturally. Just thinking of the U.S. healthcare system in general, we're all United States citizens. So, this is something that affects all of us. It affects my grandparents, it affects my parents, and it affects me. And so, thinking about how much money we spend on healthcare and just, how little we receive from the money that we spend, this podcast kind of got me thinking about that as, just as Americans, we spend so much on healthcare and we receive so little. And so I think that it's something that's very challenging for everyone to think about who is an American. Why are other countries getting so much more and spending so much less on healthcare? And why is it us that, is having these worse health outcomes because of it? And so I would definitely say it challenged me socially and culturally. So some of the topics that raised concern for me, again, I kind of mentioned before, but like America in the video, they said we spend $3.5 trillion on healthcare. It's a $3.5 trillion industry in the U.S., yet we have significantly worse outcomes than other countries. And so it kind of got me thinking about that and about, how she described it as the fee-for-service monster, which I think is actually a good way of thinking about it. And actually, the very first kind of metaphor they gave was for The Office, Stanley buying more food because someone else is paying. That happens to be one of my favorite shows, and I actually remember that episode. And it kind of made me think, about my own self. And if someone else is paying, why not get more? Why not expect more? And so that kind of got me thinking, when someone goes into the hospital, they're like, well, insurance is paying. So if I have good insurance, I might as well have all the tests run and have all the procedures done I can to try to be as healthy as I can so that I'm getting my money's worth. Which, if that's the case for every single person, then every single person is going to be ordering the lobster dinner with extra lobster. And then, there's just this huge system that is overrun with people wanting the best and the most care possible that is just it's not feasible for everyone else. So that it kind of got me, that was a little tangent, but it kind of got me thinking about that. And then another thing that caught my attention, it was pretty shocking, was that 8% of money is spent on administrative work in the U.S. compared to 3% in other countries. So 8% of money is going not even towards medical issues. It's going towards the filing processes, the administrative work, which in the video they said that's just extreme. Why does I believe they used MRIs as the example, all the paperwork you have to get just to have one MRI, and it's just crazy to me that much money is being spent compared to other countries. Other countries are spending 5% less on administrative work. The U.S. should be doing that too. And then another thing was they talked about medical mistakes. And she said, it's estimated, it's all an estimate, but it's estimated that 200,000 to 300,000, she said possibly even 400,000 deaths a year are estimated to be caused by medical mistakes. And that number's just going up. And it's also estimated that's the third leading cause of death in the United States. And the guy was like, I just can't believe that smoking is less harmful than medical mistakes. And I think that's just something that's very shocking to hear about, especially, I'm not a person that goes to the hospital a lot. I go to my doctor's appointments, but it's just kind of shocking to think about that there's so many medical mistakes like that being made. And that leads into this whole system just being what it is and being just, as kind of backwards as it is. And then they also talked about how fee-for-service has gone too far and it's leading to doctor burnout or physician burnout because physicians are spending less time with patients and more with billing and insurance companies. And so these physicians aren't being able to practice medicine and they're getting burnt out way quicker. And I think that's something that really needs to be addressed as well. So this podcast didn't conflict with any beliefs that I had previously. It mostly just expanded my knowledge on some of the areas that I thought I was knowledgeable about, but I guess I really wasn't. I guess I didn't understand fee-for-service as much as I thought I did. And, I didn't understand how if, the more you go the more you do to the patients, the more money you get. And I think that kind of thinking, especially in a country such as America, where we're very, we're very ambition and money driven, that, a person in that position, a physician in that position is going to be, well, this person, I think they used a headache as an example. Like, they came in with a headache, it's probably a 99% chance that it's just a headache, but there's that 1% chance it could be a tumor, a brain tumor. The family probably will want some testing done, and I get paid more if I test them, so why not test them? Why not have them, their brain scanned? And so I think that kind of thinking affects a lot of people in the healthcare system. Like, we're getting paid more to do more, let's do more even if they don't need it. Or even if it's, not really probably going to find anything. There's that small chance that it might, and you can get paid for it, go ahead. So I guess a question I would have is that at the end they kind of talked about, some other hospitals and ways to cut down on, to move towards a more holistic approach. And it seems like from this class and other classes, the U.S. healthcare system is obviously a big, big, big discussion, and maybe it's because we're just public health students, but it seems that a lot of hospitals, physicians, a lot of people understand that the healthcare system is so bad. And so if the government's not going to fix it, it's going to come down to hospitals trying to fix what they can. And so my question is, is it feasible for hospitals to do this? Is it feasible for hospitals to take things into their own hands and go, well, the government's not going to change this fee for service, so we're going to focus more on holistic, even though it might get us less money. So maybe my question doesn't make sense. It just kind of seems that we're stuck in a rut, and I want to know if hospitals would be able to pull themselves out of it, I guess. And so kind of like I just said, just talking about healthcare and other classes, and, people going bankrupt, and even previously in this class, talking about people I've known who've had to pay for medical bills that were just extravagant and, being surprised with bills. The healthcare system in America is really dwindling, and it's really scary, especially when you're a younger person finally getting educated on it and seeing what my parents have had to deal with and what my grandparents have had to deal with. And, it's just it kind of opens your eyes to the real world a little bit and what, I'm soon going to have to deal with. And I don't want to deal with this kind of stuff. I want a better system. So that's kind of how I would tie it in and mesh with my own experiences.